Welcome back to Three Season of Pod.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yo, it's been like, yeah, 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
Something like
month,
that. Yeah.
something like
Almost a
that.
month. Well, it
I'm
felt
not
like
even gonna
that.
say what episode it is because I don't remember. Uh, we're just back. Playoffs. I think last time we saw you guys, probably 3 weeks left till the playoffs. So now that we're kind of here, the play-in has happened. We've been able to digest two play-in games in one game of round one.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get our thoughts. So I think
Yeah. Playing games were fun.
the playing games were amazing. First of all, actually, let's start with that. Yo, fuck
Yeah,
that.
I was like, we might as well touch upon that a little bit.
I don't even care about the games. I'm just saying Adam Silver cooked, bro. Like,
Oh yeah, no, it's great.
I remember the initial response to the play-in. Like, I know the famous the LeBron thing where he's like, I hate it. It's like, why do we have
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
I think the play-in has been probably the best addition to anything NBA related in the last like couple decades.
Yeah.
It's been a great addition. I don't know.
I mean, I can't think off the top of my head like major additions to the game in the past, like, I mean, I guess like 2 decades or whatever, like
adjustments.
that.
Like they changed
Yeah,
the
or
home
like major
court rule
adjustments.
because
That's true. That is true. I never experienced that in terms
that
of
was
like
stupid.
the 2-3 whatever.
Dude, that shit was stupid. You had like 36 win teams as the third seed. It was crazy.
Yeah. So it's like that. That's crazy. And then I can think of like another one is like the division thing. Like if you won division, you were like a higher seed regardless of record.
That's the record thing.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, the play-in's been fire. Every year it keeps getting better, and like it's interesting to see teams kind of not plan for it, but know that it's an option. So they're not as like I reference more of like last year compared to this one because we didn't see it to that extent. But just like the Lakers, who they started off slow and stuff like that. They made the mid-season like moves or whatever like that, and then they weren't like panicking in terms of having to move up in the seas or whatever. They kind of just were trying to find their continuity, and then ended up getting into that Western Conference Finals and stuff. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like the play of the teams and stuff like that, it's like I know it's technically not the playoffs because there are no play-in records and all that kind of shit yet.
Statistics, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember they were talking about that for like Kobe White when he dropped like 40 something.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, there's no real record yet, but that's probably the highest." Yeah. That's probably the record for the play-in. So it's not the playoffs, but the way that they play is definitely like playoff environment. So it's nice to see those like one-off elimination playoff level games compared to when we get full series. It's just like a little different feeling.
Yeah.
So for sure.
And I agree. Playing was fire, man. Like you kind of get the pre-playoffs before the playoffs, and these guys are obviously trying to get in. Like the Lakers, I don't know. It's just funny to me how everybody's trying to say the Lakers are trying to duck the Nuggets in the first round again. So that was kind of fire.
I know it's crazy because it would have been smart, but like. I respect it because I mean they got to go through it eventually,
Yeah,
or you got to get to them eventually.
Like, can you imagine like them, getting past the first round and beating champions in the first round? You never know. So
that'd be crazy. But no, the play-in always cooks, and I think honestly the best thing, even the result before the results came in, like I was always a fan because growing up watching early 2000s basketball, you were seeing 47, 48 win teams miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they were legitimately playoff teams.
Yeah, I would say the only like caveats or whatever like that, or like adjustments I could see being made is just the distance between records and stuff like that.
That's supposed to be a rule.
Yeah, like I think that being like implemented or like having a clear distinction and stuff like that.
No. It's actually a rule. They just haven't enforced it. So
I didn't know that they had
somebody actually dug into the initial rule book of the play-in introduction, and it's kind of funny because they don't care because they're like, just give us the extra games, but, which I appreciate. I don't care. We got some good games, but
like I said, I just think it's crazy for the ones who are like 3-4 games above to have to fight for that spot or whatever like that essentially. But you can
but the rule is it's supposed the play-in only triggers if the 9th seed is within like a game and a half of the
that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't do that this year.
Yeah.
Because the Hawks and
that shit was like 3.
Yeah,
they were like at least 3 or 4 games.
It was 4 games and it wasn't even close. So theoretically the Eastern play-in shouldn't have even triggered.
And then it
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
But it ended up not
Yeah.
mattering because the 7 and the 8 seed both made playoffs.
Yeah, no, agreed. That's what I'm saying. But there are definitely worlds where it wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
and the other thing too
yeah.
is in those playing games, like we had 2 injuries. Like
Yeah.
obviously the Zion injury will be huge for the
Mhm.
Pels, in my
Jimmy,
opinion. Once we like get to
yeah.
talk into that, and then
Yep.
obviously like the Jimmy thing,
Yep.
it is like big for the Heat. Obviously, once we get into that, I don't think it would have swayed the series in any direction or anything like that. But it made it obviously even less competitive than what it was like looking like. So that's like the only sad thing I guess that we saw from the playing games. But outside of that, it was obviously like super enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because it's like nothing you can do to prevent those injuries, because it's just like a one-off game anyways.
Yeah. I also agree to the extent where it's like if the team, let's say it was like a 48 win team versus like a 31 win team.
Yeah.
And the player from the higher
got
team
injured. Like that's crazy.
That would be fucking crazy. But like
Yeah.
in a scenario like the Western Conference, that's just something that's out of your control. So like
yeah,
I can see
honestly, I think the Zion thing is like a better example than the Jimmy thing, because like yes, everyone was like extremely close in what is it? Everyone was extremely close in record, but if there was more of a discrepancy, then it would have really fucked up the Pelicans, in my opinion, because there are dead ass like 8 to 9 competitive teams in the West. Yeah. So it's like no matter what the seeding was, they could have still beaten that 1 seed. Where it's like it is a bit more far fetched to think that of like the Heat winning their or getting the 8th seed in the East. In a Western Conference like this, it would really be like shitty if that ended up happening against a team that was like 5+ games under you. Yeah, and they were just 1 seed under you.
For sure. Yeah. So, the play-in happened. I think we all enjoyed that, but now it's not a real show, right? And I think it's only fitting we talk about the Celtics. Right? So I was at the game. But I feel okay. So like, this is something I want to talk to you guys about, because like I really do think how you watch a game in person versus like on a broadcast, it's different.
Yeah.
Right. It's very different in that I feel like when you're watching on a broadcast, you're able to kind of catch more things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
you're
sure.
able to watch the game a little bit more analytically. But when you're at the game, you're a little bit more hyped. So you guys are probably gonna catch more shit than I did, because I was over there like talking shit to the Heat and Caleb Martin. But
no, definitely is like more. I mean, for the games that I've gone to, just emotion based, obviously, because you just feel the hype of the crowd.
Yep.
But yeah, you're at least in my eyes, I'm like breaking. I'm doing less of like seeing the concepts going on, or like the mind games going on about like they switched this from the first quarter compared to what they're doing right now, or even like they're running like this play. It's typically just like experiencing whatever is like happening in the moment.
You're letting the emotions go.
So it's like I can understand where you're saying it's you pick up different things if you're watching it on TV rather than like in a home crowd.
But that being said, game one in the books. I know I've heard and read. Whoa, you good, Kyle? You good?
Somebody I had to fix the window. That's all.
I thought someone was cutting grass because I heard some like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I just wanted to cut that out. You can get blown though.
No, I thought something happened. I was like, this dude got up. That's all good. But no, like game one in the books, right? Like I've talked to people at work. I've read stuff on Twitter, in articles, and just all around, seeing and hearing things. And there's kind of like not a divide, but more so like what I'm hearing a lot of is people didn't like that little mini run that we gave up. And I'm like, that's not the whole story of the game. It is annoying to see. And I know I get it. We're Celtics fans. We have a little bit of PTSD when it comes to blowing leads, especially big leads in big moments. But I didn't really think much of it. Like, tell me if you guys felt the same watching it from home. But like, when I was at the game, I know people around me were worried. I wasn't worried. Not once was I worried. Like
you can go.
I'm not gonna lie. You kind of said that PTSD. I kind of felt it. Not gonna lie, when it went initially when they hey, don't get me. You were there and we were watching on the screen. Like they gave up 3 easy like layups. Like
Yeah.
guys were just doubling and like right on their hoop. So like at first, I was like, maybe we're up 32 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and then it's like, all right, like that's 6 points. Like that's not. And then they started hitting threes, and I'm like, oh god, like yeah, we're up 32. We're comfortable enough that we're gonna win the game. But it's
Yeah.
like
You're like, oh
I just
shit.
didn't. Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like that fear still kind of like lives inside me. So I'm just like, damn, like can we just call a timeout or something? Like I
Yeah.
can't let this shit keep going on. But like I understand the panic in people in some fans is like perspective, but I think overall, like the guys kind of just took the foot off the gas and just
100%.
kind of So like, I mean, I don't know. I was 50-50, but I was like, you know what? It's game one. It's like we already smoked them. Like they could go on whatever run they can. There's just not enough time for them to make
Yeah.
it happen. So
Yeah,
For sure.
I
that's how
mean,
I felt.
I think it was pretty obvious that we took the foot off the gas, so it wasn't like concerning because before it was, a lot more like we're trying to like maintain it and like they're fearful on their own. But it feels like there's less of that fear coming from like the players themselves because I mean that shit fucking translates, especially when like yo, what are they doing? Like
Yeah.
they're panicking to get a shot, and that's still like that still like happens with the Celtics and like these players or like our main guys specifically. It happens in like much more rare compared to before. So I get the concern, but I definitely wouldn't say that this was one of those times where it felt like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with like how big of a lead, and even when it started cutting close, like you're saying, like there wasn't enough time to pull some, unless it was like legit a miracle, like fucking run
sure.
out of them throughout that fourth quarter. So yeah, I definitely don't feel that way about the mini run that they went on specifically. There's just more of like other things that I'm like trying to focus on because it felt like a nothing game in theory. Because like we were hitting our shots, they weren't hitting their shots. They did hit those shots in the fourth quarter. So it's like I'd rather like, or I expect to see in the rest of the series more of that like fourth quarter from them. Not to that dramatic extent, obviously, but definitely more of like that back and forth. It was nice to see that they made the adjustments that they typically do in terms of like zone stuff and all that. But we minimized the effect of it because I think that's like the main thing, or those are the main things I'm looking for within this series. It's none of us. I mean, I'm gonna just say none of us are really like concerned about whether they win or lose this series.
Yep.
We're all pretty confident that they're going to win this series, barring like something crazy happening in terms of like injury or like a crazy historic run. But it is like good to see how they, because like Spo is obviously one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's going to make adjustments, whether that's the highest effect because of the player quality, but they're going to have an effect because he's smart and like he knows how to play against these guys. So to see how we react to those things is important to me because they might not win a game off of those adjustments, but they might go on those kinds of runs. And if we still fall victim to those kinds of runs, then it shows that we may not have like it for the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals and stuff like that. Because I don't really give a fuck about the first round at this point. Like you said, we feel like we're gonna win this
easy
anyways. So it's all about if we can play championship winning basketball right from the get against these guys. And I mean, like I said, it looked like it was kind of hard to tell because obviously we were making like hella shots and making hella buckets very, very early from the get. So it'll be interesting to see for the rest of the series.
Yeah. I think someone brought up a good point. Probably Scalabrini, actually, where it's like we're gonna get a better feel as to how focused this team actually is in game 2 than we would in game 1. Just because of like the anticipation and the hype for the start of the playoffs, where we've basically been on cruise control for a month, right? So like the game 1 is really just the adrenaline flowing and then just the hype, right? How will it get when this team clearly has dominated their opponent and then now game 2 comes, right? Can they keep that same level of focus? I'm not saying we should blow them out, but like will we win assuredly? I don't want a down to the wire game
Yeah.
at home. You know what I mean?
It definitely should be
Yeah.
convincing. Yeah,
Exactly.
almost every game.
Yeah, especially
Like
without Jimmy and Scary
Yeah.
Terry. Yeah.
Like, dude, I give them so much like respect out of all these like past years and stuff, and like we've known, or we should give them respect because of how they played us. But like, dude, they're literally missing like they have no shot creation at all. It's like almost insane how like bad their offense can look. It can obviously go on like runs and stuff, but like their offense can look horrible, especially for like the defensive versatility that we have.
Yeah.
And the guys that we have on defense.
But either way, yeah, I think should be season 4. I think we all have that.
Usually.
Even with Jimmy, I think maybe Jimmy turns his tide for one game, but like
yeah, I agree. If it was Jimmy, I give him 1 at least. That's it.
Yeah, I just don't see the difference like a lot of these Heat fans seem to be coping with. But like oh yeah, you guys are acting up without your daddy. I'm like, dude, it's not.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not 2022 anymore. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's funny because like they be flip flopping in terms of like wanting the Celtics, and then when they lose, we have Jimmy and shit. So it's like that's whatever. And I mean, there are a lot of Heat fans too that are like they know this is a wash of a series.
Oh yeah,
100%. Like they know that this is just like experience for Jovic and Jaime. And like kind of seeing what Tyler Hero, like how good he could be for them if they even want to keep him long term. Mm-hmm. So I think all of those things are good for the Heat and will benefit them because they'll kind of get an idea for each of these guys. But outside of that, it's really just it's a wash of a series for them.
Yeah, I mean it's the duality of every fan base. Honestly, you always have both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
and I say spectrum very loosely.
And shout out to JT for his triple double.
Shout out to JT.
People be talking crazy.
Also,
even after
shout out to JB and Porzingis for stepping up in Caleb Martin's face.
Yeah, that was.
All right. Actually, let's talk about that really quickly.
Hey, we can do that.
I don't think it was on purpose.
I don't think so either.
Personally,
I don't think so.
But come on, man. Like it happens so often against the same team.
They're just
not just against us, like against other people too. Like
exactly. They have that reputation, so.
It just doesn't help that basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they don't give themselves the benefit of the doubt.
They don't, man.
But yeah, it didn't look like it was intentional.
Yeah,
obviously, it could have been like fucking horrible for Tatum. So it's like, it's dope that everyone on the C's like stood up for him and shit. But yeah, I don't think it was one of those moments.
I don't think he was intentionally trying to hurt Tatum. But I will tell you. When that shit happened, everybody jumped up mad quick. It's like, hey, you could hear the crowd like getting mad loud. Like you just all the talking. Like, shit.
I'm sure like more than half the crowd thought that shit was intentional, bro.
Oh, dude, when I was no
way, they were hostile as fuck.
I thought that shit was intentional until I saw it on tape. But like, but even on tape, like regardless of intention, that did not look good at all.
Yeah,
It is what it is. So, that shit was funny. Okay, so next series, Knicks versus Sixers. Okay, this one's interesting.
I actually like this one.
I like this one, but it's kind of like an asterisk for me because of Embiid's knee. You saw that shit? That shit was bleeding, bro.
No, it was crazy. And I mean, if he is healthy, that'll be, or like if that wasn't a major thing, then obviously sways it a lot. But in terms of the way that they played each other, I thought that was like really good. Especially how they played against the Knicks. Like the Sixers lost the first game, but I would say they should feel very good about the way they did it, or like the way that they played. Because Jalen Brunson was not a non-factor, but he definitely wasn't the Brunson that we were seeing
not at all.
Towards the to finish the season, or even throughout the whole season. This man was like, he has been getting all NBA, like first team all NBA nominations essentially.
Dude, he's about to rob Tatum.
I mean, that's another conversation, but
come on, man.
To be their first or second team, like he was not looking like that, and the Sixers had a really good game plan against him, and just showed a lot of size against a player being small and shit. This is what fucking was being said before, but people were trying to hate crazy, like
trying to hate on Becky Hammond, bro. Like
like he has his weaknesses. And he's gonna adjust. He's not gonna play this bad throughout the series.
Yeah,
but this is it kind of shows the cap to me about how far a Jalen Brunson led team could go.
A Jalen
Especially
Brunson
against
1-8
like
team, yeah.
especially of the great teams, which unfortunately the Sixers ended up being in this position, but they are still like a great team in the East.
Agreed.
And like Josh Hart basically saved their ass in the fourth quarter,
Oh my god,
hitting crazy shots, and that's what I'm saying. Where it's like the Sixers are gonna take that. Like Josh Hart is not gonna save their asses
that
4 times out of 7.
Josh Hart, come on, bro.
Yeah,
come on, bro.
4 times out of 7, they are not. He's not gonna win that series for them. So it's like they're gonna live with that. And outside of that, it felt like they had a majority of the control until the Embiid thing happened. Yeah. And he sat out until I think he came back in the fourth.
Yeah.
No, he came back started this.
Or was it?
He started
midway through the third.
I thought it happened in the third.
Really?
It happened midway through the third, but then he came back. Like it looked really bad, dude. Like he was withering in pain. But yeah.
Oh, when he injured his foot?
When he injured his knee, yeah.
I think it was like second quarter, wasn't it? It was the almost end of the second quarter. Like 4 minutes left. He left, closed out the game, and then the Knicks went on like a run.
Maybe, but yeah, regardless, that was the time that they did go on the run.
Right.
And they kind of like got more of control of the game. But obviously, whenever Embiid was in the game, that was when they felt like they were in way more control. And I didn't expect that entirely. Obviously, like we know Embiid's playoff woes essentially, but he definitely impacted the game, especially coming back from injury.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we make fun of Embiid all the time as a playoff dropper, and it's warranted, honestly. But like, come on, man. Thanks. but no, for real. Like, I do think that really sways the tides dramatically. Actually, whether or not Embiid is healthy, and actually, Max is sick too. You might miss tonight.
Yeah, he's sick today.
I didn't see that.
But if Embiid's not healthy, and if that knee is as bad as it looks, then I just don't see them winning this series at all. Like, it could easily end in 5 or 6. But under the assumption that he is healthy or able to play through it, I don't know, man. I might have the Sixers in 7. In that scenario.
I still have it going 7. Yeah, no matter what.
Even within even if Embiid misses the next 5 games.
I don't know. I mean, 5 games is crazy, but I do.
Because, bro, like, an MCL is not something you fuck with, right?
No, I agree, but I don't think that he doesn't look like he's at the point where he would be out for the series. Like, I think he's going to be there at this point, especially because they've been playing him. So I think he's going to continue to play.
Yeah.
Just hobbled.
I don't know.
And I mean, I didn't get to see. I mean, I don't really remember how he was looking. I mean, I feel like he looked good, or he looked fine even in the fourth quarter.
Okay, but this kind of this hits close to home because we're Celtics fans, and a lot of people say we mismanaged the way IT's injuries.
Oh no, they're mismanaging the fuck out of this. Bro, I agree.
Like this is literally his career.
Yeah,
on the line. Like that. An MCL is one thing, right? Like we've seen plenty of MCLs lead to worse injuries. Like KD is probably the more prime example. But this dude came back, and it was probably a worse re-aggravation than KD because KD was like non-contact. He was just running down the floor, and he tore his Achilles, right?
Yeah.
Embiid was landing on 300 pounds of body mass. Like that's just I don't know. We'll find out, right? But like, I don't know if they can push him to play through this, can they? Because like, I've had knee injuries. I don't know if you've had knee injuries, Kyle. I know you've had knee injuries, Nathan.
Yeah.
That shit is not a fucking joke. Even just a slight sprain is painful. Like, I can't even imagine playing in the NBA game and then re-aggravating it. Like, I don't know. I don't think he can play.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't know because I didn't dive too deep into what their re-aggravation was and all that kind of stuff. Because especially because
it was definitely
he came back and like he played. It was, yeah. He came back, he played, and he looked and like had a positive effect on the game still. Yeah. Like it didn't look like he came back and he was literally on one leg. Right. So to get to that point, it felt like it feels like it was just scarier than it actually was. Like one of those moments. And like I said, I don't know what
for his sake. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the assumption I'm under is. I'm not too sure if they came out with like a post or whatever, like saying
they haven't updated anybody yet.
Yeah, about specifically what happened or whatever. But yeah, the fact that he came back and looked like good to like really good in my opinion, especially like being effective for the team and stuff.
Right.
It just leads me to think that it won't keep him out of the series. And it wasn't as bad as it looked. And that's why I have it as or that's why I'm going under the assumption that he's not going to
for sure.
be missing games in the series.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it goes 7 regardless.
Yeah, 7. I don't know. I think that knee injury. I mean, yeah, Embiid, but I think this is the second time injuring it since he came back. And the first time he did come back too. So I think he's kind of, again, you guys already said, like, they're doing a bad job of managing it, and he is too. I think because he said he loves basketball. He wants to be out there and play, help his team win. So you can't blame that. But I think if a knee injury is as bad as it is, you should probably take more precaution with it. But even with that being said, I think they do have a rivalry going on. Knicks and Philly. Obviously, Knicks has dominated them this season, so I think it's kind of in their eyes to kind of go out and win the series. So I do see it going 7, and I kind of give the edge to the Sixers because of the playoff experience as a whole. Like Embiid has been in those games, and he hasn't. He's won some and he's lost a lot. So I think it's only going to help him grow. And then picking up Lowry is huge. That's championship pedigree right there. Not saying they're going to go far, but he's kind of has the DNA.
He was playing well. He was playing really well. Game 1.
It was 18 points game 1. Like that's
Maxey too,
kind of big. Maxey too, yeah. So like, I think just overall, Philly has the better team and talent. And the Knicks
I think they have the better talent for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, and the Knicks are just shorthanded. And even if you ask me, I think we all agreed if the Knicks were healthy with Julius Randle, and like they probably would have made the Eastern Conference Final. But I think the run and the way they've been playing, I really don't think that Julius Randle would have, made a difference in this series.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Who knows? Because whatever.
He's such a fucking. He's such a fucking like hot and cold player, so it's hard to say because like he can just as easily win you games as he can lose you games. It's like,
exactly.
It's hard to really gauge, in my opinion.
You're talking about Randle, right?
Yeah, Julius Randle.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, he has such a different play style compared to what the Knicks are doing now.
Yeah.
That if they just threw him in, like he came back from injury and went straight to the playoffs, I think it would have negatively affected him. I think if he was healthy throughout the season, as they made all those acquisitions and stuff too, and because they were really good when they first got OG, they were on like 7-1 or some shit like that. But yeah, like I said, the way that they're playing now is different from the way they were playing then because Randall is a different kind of player than any one of the guys that they have right now. So yeah, definitely would have swayed if he was healthy throughout the whole season, in my opinion. I have it in 7, like I was saying too, but I do think the Knicks. I am taking the Knicks rather than. I know you guys said the Sixers in 7. I just think that if it goes the distance, I don't have faith in Embiid's production. Going the distance. That doesn't mean that he's going to be like injured or anything like that, but I just think that the wear and tear will show up, especially for a team that's like, as like gritty and like much of a bruiser team as the Knicks. I just don't see it going well for those guys being more like finesse guys on the Sixers end. Like Maxey showed a lot of like great physicality too, though, against Brunson. But I do think they typically are more just like finesse guys. And Embiid is already like already has a lot of wear and tear clearly. That's just my. I think they can keep high level of play for longer, basically in the series.
Yeah, I actually have the Knicks because it's.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because I'm anticipating Embiid not playing a good chunk of the series. Just as like it, I just can't agree that he can play more than one more game in this series. Because man, look at what happened with Jimmy Butler. Right, he hurt his knee. It looked really bad in the beginning, but he came back and he played. And it didn't look crazy, but adrenaline and a cortisone shot can do a lot in the moment, right? But then after that, look at now. I think he's out for the series, right? Has that been confirmed, by the way?
No, I mean, he's out multiple.
They're saying he's
okay.
So I mean, I guess that would be the series.
It has to be the series, right?
Yeah, so, that shit can't go multiple weeks.
I would imagine the same thing would be applied to Embiid here. So I actually have the Knicks in 5 or 6, depending on how well Maxey can steal a game or 2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if Embiid is out, obviously that changes all of our
Yeah, for sure.
assumptions or our predictions and stuff. But
Yeah.
this is me just going in with like he's basically where he was at the end of the season, not not where that injury during the game is going to affect. It was just like a scary looking thing.
Even with the scary looking thing, man, I just have to assume. So for me,
Yeah,
I'm going with Matt. Like I'm thinking the Knicks.
I think Embiid is playing today.
He is playing today.
Yeah, I think they might steal the game tonight, man.
Bro. I mean, I really hope you guys watch football at all? Or
yeah,
you know who Robert Griffin III is, right?
Yeah.
I really hope this isn't the fucking same scenario, bro. Because
I actually don't know the whole thing about.
So the lore behind that basically is he tore his ACL in the second quarter, right before the half. And they fucking put him back in the game.
That's fucking crazy.
So
that's crazy.
So it's kind of the equivalent here, right? Like obviously it's game to game in the NBA. So he didn't. He could have tore his MCL. We don't fucking know, dude.
We don't know.
A big
that's
dude.
True.
That's a big.
I mean, if it is something to that extent, that is like actual malpractice.
That's fucking
like,
crazy.
Because and. I would like to think it's not that, but
I hope it's not that.
That'd be crazy.
I mean, because it's crazy because you ain't gonna win a championship whether he's healthy or not.
Yeah.
So it's like you're wasting his career and an opportunity to build on what you had. Because they looked great when he was healthy.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he looked great.
Yeah. So I have Knicks in 5 or 6.
Knicks in 7 for me.
I got Philly in 7.
Philly in 7. For your sake, Nathan, I hope Embiid is healthy.
I do.
All right. Bucks versus Pacers. Who y'all got?
I'll go first.
I know who you got.
Bucks in 5.
Bucks in 5.
5 is crazy.
Bucks in 5.
5 is kind of crazy.
Tyrese Halliburton is not fucking with Dame. I'm sorry.
Yo, he looked really bad.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, so if that's all you're gonna say for now, I think So like I agree with he's not fucking with Dame, but I had suspicions about Tyrese. I remember we like talked about the in-season tournament and just like the play that he was showing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was saying I just think like I'm a little bit skeptical once it comes to the playoffs, especially because the team is so very like they were specifically like fast paced.
Yep.
And they took a lot of like advantages in transition and stuff like that. And Tyrese just like thrives in the transition off his playmaking and his shot making. I think I don't know how much I want to like attribute to the hamstring or even like talk about the hamstring because I'm not like up to date about that. I know it has been like lingering since post All-Star break, which is why he hasn't been like producing crazy. He obviously could have been on like a crazy run to start the season too. So like I don't know where he falls in line at that. But I do think his play was like crazy in the way that like he just didn't shoot, bro. Like it wasn't even a matter of like, oh, this man got like shut down or he looked like
that brother was scared, bro.
Yeah, it just looked like it was his first playoff game and he didn't shoot.
The lights were too bright.
Yeah. Like some people will get shut down. They'll like be really cold or something like that. But he just looked like he was passive as fuck. Like we talk about like Tatum passiveness sometimes, but bro, he took 7 shots. That's crazy, bro.
Like, out there, man.
TJ McConnell took 6 more shots than him. Why the fuck is TJ McConnell taking 6 more shots than you, bro?
That's what I'm saying, man.
This is crazy. So, and I mean, as a team, they shot like horribly. I think they shot like less than 30% from 3 and like less than 40% from 2.
The only guy with a positive field goal percentage was Siakam.
Yeah. I mean, he was going in, which was fire.
He was,
but those 2 things just lead me to think that it'd be crazy for it to not go past 5. Like 5 is crazy. I think it's gonna be competitive for sure. But yeah, I think Tyrese is just the main like point I got out of that game. Like he just looked like it was his first playoff game, and it was just shocking to see, especially for like I don't know, like the in-season tournament. I know it's like different, but bro was like amped as fuck for that. And he was
real pressure though.
No, I get that, but like he was also like he was going in, he was going crazy. Like he was hitting clutch. He was doing clutch plays, and I mean like we can't say that that's like the playoffs, but they were like more high pressure than regular. It was
a little bit more pressure, yeah.
And like we've seen people who can't even do that shit in the regular season.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not like Tyrese don't have it. Obviously, like is he going to be doing that in the playoffs like consistently? That's a whole other conversation. but he's got that at least. And like to see him so passive was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Bro. Like all right, look, here's the thing, right? Okay, I have to kind of correlate it to stuff that I've experienced because none of us have obviously ever experienced like playing in an NBA game, let alone the playoffs or whatever, right? But I attribute it to this. When I used to play at the park, right, 5-on-5 pickup, there was a huge difference in the way I approached playing the game when we were playing just like, it didn't matter who it was. It could be a competitive game, but like just next up type of shit. There's a difference between playing that and playing knowing that my cousin decided to put money on the game. Do you know what I'm saying? So like I really do think, and I'm not saying he's never gonna get there, but like this is definitely one of those things where he's clearly the 1A on the team.
Yeah.
And the real pressure of the playoffs, I think, got to him in a hostile environment against an opposing superstar who was going crazy.
Yep.
And he
but I mean, I would think that's reactionary to say that he's not gonna.
I'm not saying he's not gonna
figure it out within this series.
No, I'm not even saying that. Like, I'm just saying that first game. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. Yeah. The first game was rough.
That brother was a deer in the headlights, baby.
Yeah, all those things that you're saying are true.
Sure.
Yeah. Like he literally looked passive as fuck. Yeah, but to think that he's not going to reach that at all and play this way.
Okay, I thought you were talking about. I thought you was talking about like just the first game. And
no. I'm saying like the reason why I won't vote 5
because I'm not giving him because I'm not giving him an out for that first game. That was just
hell no. No, he did ask, but to think that he's not going to
because I'm a Hallie fan. I ain't trying to.
It's just crazy to think that he wouldn't play at least like to the standards of what he was doing in the regular season. Not like his insane stretch, but just his regular season averages in terms of that. Like, there's no way that he's gonna like fold that crazy.
But do we have any updates on if Giannis is coming back this series?
It's still I don't think it's confirmed yet.
I'm guessing he's not going to come back.
Because if Giannis I feel like if
I think he comes back like 4 or 5.
If Giannis comes back before Game 4, this changes my outlook. But
I
at
agree.
the moment, I have the Bucks in 6.
If I got to go in 7, I actually don't know who I want.
If Giannis comes back, I got the Bucks in 5. But yeah, I got Bucks in 6 right now.
Yeah, I think it'll go 7. I just don't know who I'm like picking realistically.
Yeah.
I think
if Giannis doesn't come back, I could see it going 7 as well. But
yeah, I mean, I think if they take advantage, because like I said, my assumption is that Giannis would come back around like Game 5, and if by then they already have 2, or 3, whatever the fuck, then I could just see it getting stretched out to 7. And like I said, I don't know who I'm picking realistically. I might just pick the Pacers just for fucking chaos, and just to be a contrarian, you know. But yeah, I think it goes 7 because I don't think, especially because they won this game, I don't think they're gonna rush Giannis back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like they haven't been able to. Or okay, the other caveat is the Bucks play differently when Dame is, or like when one of the stars are missing.
Yeah.
Because for like when Giannis is there, they heavily play into Giannis's game. Yep. When in reality, it should be either more split or more into like this Dame game. Chris Middleton also played like a really good game too, so I'm not gonna discount that. But it's been a weird thing where like whenever Giannis misses games, Dame goes crazy. When they play together, Dame is not going crazy. I don't watch enough Bucks games to see like, oh, Giannis is taking 90% of the possessions or whatever like that. But it clearly shows that like when it is like Dame still has it, especially when he is propped up to be like the number 1 guy. But they just haven't found that together. So I could ironically see it even if Giannis does come back to where their style of play sort of, it's still kind of like weird, and it ends up not benefiting them the way that we think, where it's just like, oh yeah, throw Giannis in, that shit's a wrap now, because that's what we've been thinking all season.
Yeah,
it does make sense though, because Dame is not used to being a 2.
And Giannis ain't used to being
a 2.
So it's like
and actually, you know, it's fine. It's kind of like a more advanced level of what the Jays were going through when they were growing.
Yeah.
But hey, either way, if they want to do that when they play the Celtics, all for it, baby. Make the road easier. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stick with Pacers in 7 for the contrarian part of me.
I still got Bucks in 6, regardless if
Bucks and
Giannis comes back.
stand by Bucks from 5, man. That's it. So what?
Okay, last series in the East. This is an interesting one. I'm interested in what you guys got.
You think so? I think it's less. I think it's the least interesting.
I'm interested in what you're saying.
Okay.
So Orlando versus Cleveland. Who y'all got?
I mean, we can just start with Preds. We can start with the Preds.
Oh shit! Damn.
Wait, what'd you say?
Cleveland 5.
Oh yeah, no, I had Cavs in 5 too.
Yeah.
I have Cavs in 7.
7? Nah, it's not going.
I think the Magic. I think the Magic are reminiscent of the Knicks in a lot of ways, and obviously the Knicks beat the Cavs last year. But I just think that their play or their shot creation and their shot making is just ass. And the Cavs just clearly like exploited that, where they were just letting them shoot whatever the fuck they wanted on the perimeter, and they just couldn't make it. And I don't think that they are going to end up making them in the series. Like obviously there are teams that we feel like you might as well take that gamble because that's your best option, but not for this. It's like this is your best option, and they're probably not going to kill you from 3. And they don't have a lot of guys who can kill you from 3. So those two aspects play. That's what I'm saying. so like that plays like a huge part to me, and then just their like perimeter like play creation and playmaking and stuff like that. Like everyone has talked about them lacking guards to in general, and that's been like a huge weakness of theirs. But if Dono is playing the way that he is right now, or he played that first game, because obviously he looked a little bit hurt to end the season. But if he plays the way that he did in the first game, and their defense keeps up, because like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are still like defensive monsters, I just don't see a world where the Magic consistently can outscore the Cavs. And the Cavs like offensive potential is just way higher than the Magic.
Yeah, if Dono's playing like that, then yeah. But I'm relying on Orlando's defense. I think defensively they can hold up. And you know what? I'm gonna trust the young P5 and Franz Wagner. I think they can take some games. I don't think they can beat the Cavs in 7 games.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna win the series. Like
I don't think it's crazy that you think it's 7.
But
yeah.
I do think the defensive capabilities of the team is what's gonna keep them in it. And I think that down the stretch, bucket for bucket, I get what y'all are saying, where there's like no spacing at all. I see that. But I also see the talent in Franz and Paolo. So
yeah, no, I mean that in general I agree with.
I think at the end of the day they can take 3 games, but I don't think they could take the series. If that makes sense.
I come back. For me, for the most part, I think they can maybe get 2 at most. But I'm gonna give them 1 at this point.
I said 5 too. I agree.
They look really bad. I'm not even going to front. They look really bad.
3-point shooting is huge. Like
yeah,
the only person that I believe that probably hit it threes was Paulo and maybe Gary Harris. I think the first game, Jalen Suggs. Yeah,
Jalen Suggs hit like.
But other than that, ain't nobody else was hitting a perimeter shot for their lives.
Yeah,
Franz Wagner.
They were like 4 for 30 or some shit.
Yeah, I predicted them to shoot like 5 of 27 for the game, and I think they shot like maybe 4 or 5, and like for like 30, you said. Well, yeah, but I think Orlando. Yeah,
listen, man.
No, that's kind of still as bad.
I mean, it was ugly on both sides, so yeah, no argument there.
Like I said, their defense again, I could back that. Like they're good defensively, but I just don't think. What Kyle was saying, their offense is not up to par compared to the Cavs. Like if the Cavs get going, I think just. Like they always say, better offense is better than better defense, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to weigh out, and the Cavs will, beat them. And I think defensively too, the Cavs can match that. Like,
that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, they have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and then kind of sleep on everybody else defensively. I think as a team, they have kind of like I'm not going to say a formula, but they have a recipe to kind of like counteract and stop. Like another team. Yeah. So, and especially, and what I was going to say, and it was like they kind of got that bittersweet taste in their mouth from last year, losing to the Knicks. So I think they kind of came in this first round prepared, and
I hope so.
Like the Magic who aren't experienced. I think it's their job to get it done. So I think they kind of come out and make a statement and win in at least 5. But if it's 6, it's cool. But
Yeah.
at least it won't go to 7.
So like, the first thing for sure, I think the Cavs defense will match up with the Magic defense. So like I said, I think that offense is just the difference. I think Franz and Paulo can have a game for sure, and that's why like I say 5. But realistically, I just think their defense is up to par, or even like it can be better than the Magic as well, because they just got those defensive guys. Yeah. But I mean, shit. I hope they fucking feel bittersweet, but it don't look like it, because I didn't get to see it or like witness it or whatever. But like just hearing about the fact that they could have had the 2 seed, but then dodged so that they could get the Magic is like pretty whack to me.
The Sixers of the Heat.
Yeah. They were avoiding getting the 2 seed essentially, because there was I think they were versing the Hornets, either the last game or second to last game, something like that. And it was a game they easily could have won, but they just ended up playing a lot of their rookies / like bench guys for that to end the season, or like to end the game. So I'm like, shit, it don't sound like it don't look like they're fucking hungry to win in a playoff series and shit.
So they want a second round exit? Like,
no, yeah. They're like, hey, we made it the second round. Let's go. we didn't get bounced in the first round.
Hey, that's good news for the Celtics. Shit.
Yeah. So after hearing that, I was like, and you talking about them, I would hope that they have some kind of fucking feeling about the way they went out, but
I mean,
it don't look like that.
From all the other reports, Donovan Mitchell is trying to get the fuck out anyway. Probably matches up.
Yeah. So I think they win this shit, but damn.
Yeah. All right. So on to the West. This one. Okay, this is the one I think you guys might think I'm crazy. But there's a caveat. So Thunder versus Pels. Okay. I do think the Pels have a chance to upset the Thunder.
I do too.
And watching that first game, man, they were really struggling with size, and that kind of shocked me in a way, because I don't watch a lot of Pels games, but obviously we all pay attention to the league, and Valanciunas kind of fell out of their rotation. For the last 2 or 3 months, basically half the season.
Yeah,
right?
Which makes sense.
It does make sense, but he was fucking dominating Thunder, bro. He was.
And I mean, it's because Zion wasn't there.
Exactly, because Zion wasn't there. But the fact that he was able to step in and dominate a good team, they're good. The Thunder are a good team. They're good, for a reason. But I think that size and how much they struggled against it, man. If Zion is healthy, the Pelicans are beating the Thunder. I don't know if there's any reports or updates of when he's gonna be able to come back, or how serious.
I don't think he's coming back. No.
I don't know. Said, I think it's 2 weeks. He's gonna get reevaluated in 2 weeks.
That sucks.
Yeah, I feel like the injury was something serious.
That sucks.
Yeah. But I mean,
man, he was
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think this was the series that I was like, let me respect them a little bit more. So that I had Thunder winning. But I had them in 6. The big thing was Zion being out, and the fact that BI is kind of injured / like not really. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he recovering from injury / like injured, so he doesn't look great. So those 2 aspects, because of those guys are like their star players. I see the Thunder like winning out of like pure talent. But in terms of the matchup, I do agree that this is a very fun matchup compared to like if the Pels won that play-in game and they were versing the Nuggets. Outside of the Nuggets just being a monster team, I just think that they have a lot of perimeter guys who have like a lot of length, and that helps with the fact that a lot of the Thunder's main playmakers, play creators, all that kind of stuff or like their best players are perimeter players. So being able to put like the Herb Jones and Najee Marshall and Trey Murphy's and stuff like that.
Herb, though, he was playing his SGA.
Herb is dude. He's been crazy all season. Like I thought he would start to get fizzled out because of his shooting, but he shot like 40% from 3. And his defense has always been amazing since he came into the league. But yeah, all those guys being able to get thrown at their perimeter guys, I think they match up really well. And then now they have the aspect of Val. I think Zion would have done similar things in terms of like star talent / like being a big that would be hard for them to handle. But yeah, I mean Val has always been like good. It was just their cohesion together. That's why they were like rocking with Larry Nance more. But I think this version also makes sense for them too, where it's like, it's just BI's team, and then they're having Val as that traditional big man. So yeah, I don't think it's crazy to think that they could upset them. I do think, and that first game was like basically how I envision it going. It's like it was ugly as fuck, and defense on both sides was like really aggressive, and it ended up being a one possession game. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening and just swaying either way. But like I said, I think the talent of the Thunder will end up taking them over the top in like 6 games.
Yeah, I agree. I say Thunder in probably 6. I say 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win 5. That's with the.
I thought you were going to go the other way.
Nah, Zion not coming back. I think of course CJ and BI is gonna be able to steal one at home for sure, because I think the defense is gonna pick up. I mean, not pick up, but they're gonna get a stop and they're gonna get a win at home. And then I think again, like OKC is just, I wouldn't say more talented. I think they're kind of equal. I think their offense is just more reliable compared to the Pelicans. That's just how I see it. But I think just OKC as a whole, they're young, but I think their cohesiveness as a group all season, and just I think they're gonna find a way. I feel like they always find a way, and this is a good test for them in the first round. And then the Pelicans, of course, they're hurt without Zion, but with the leadership of CJ, and then BI is not fully healthy. But I think just overall what he's capable of, and then all this supporting pieces around them, I think they're good enough to win a game, maybe even 2. I hope they can win 2, but I think overall just the talent's offense is gonna win out in that series, and OKC is more, like I said, more, in my opinion, more complete right now. But Zion obviously would have been the difference maker if he was healthy.
I mean,
he was going crazy in that plane.
Man, but I was watching the game 1, and down the stretch, I think there was a stretch of 6-ish minutes in the fourth quarter where the Pels held the Thunder to like no field goal.
Yeah, no,
for 6 minutes, and at the end of the game, I think what ended up doing them in, one, shout out to Lou Dort, he had him in the torture chamber, because when we talked about this before, where when the game gets down to the stretch, a lot of times it just settles out into 1-on-1. You don't really see sets actually being run other than maybe like a pick and roll or a pick to get a matchup. But like when you put the team 1-on-1, and maybe BI is, like you were saying, injured still, so he couldn't really create like he normally would. Because I mean, BI is a good 1-on-1 player, so it was really.
All right, he's like the perfect guy to just shoot over the top.
But it was really fucking crazy to see him literally just go right where Lou Dort wanted him to go.
Yeah,
just take tough shots, and then same thing with CJ. CJ, I mean, maybe he has a reputation now, but like he just
he do have a reputation. Right? That shit is crazy,
that
bro.
last possession was just disgusting, right? But that's what they were missing. They were missing a guy like Zion, who, I mean, he's not necessarily like a guy with a bag, but he has that Giannis effect where he can like just bulldoze through, and
he has a thing, man. He can just get hit to his spot all the time.
Crazy athleticism, and he's like such a great finisher. Like, it's not just athleticism; he can finish around the rim really effectively. So I think that's what they miss. But yeah, I have the Thunder in 6. The caveat that Zion's out for the series. But man, if Zion can find his way back, bro, holy shit! I actually think I actually have the Pels if Zion comes back by game.
I'm still iffy if Zion's back. Like I think that's guaranteed 7 if like Zion was back or healthy. Yep. I just think that the way they mesh has never been like the most cohesive, and I think that's like their downfall, because the Thunder is like the complete opposite of a team that doesn't mesh. They like are the most free flowing team and selfless
agreed
brand of basketball represented in like right now, in my opinion. So it's like, I think their star players can reach like similar peaks or like higher peaks compared to like the Thunder guys. But their cohesiveness is basically what led them to like continuously dropping in the seedings, in my opinion. Because like they always look really good with one or the other guy out. They don't ever look like, in my opinion, amazing when both of those guys are in. especially when Zion is like the main guy.
You're talking about
He's looked
BI
amazing.
and Zion, right?
Yeah. When like BI has been out and Zion has been like the guy to do stuff, their team looks way more cohesive and just better. And like they go on runs. And the same way back. So it's like if BI gets healthy, maybe we can start talking. But he don't look good right now.
No, he don't. He don't. But then again, that was also like, I love this kind of. I don't know about you guys, but I love this brand of basketball. I actually really like defensive games, and
which is why I like the Cavs Magic. But I just it's like a snooze at the same time.
But no, this one was actually like it was a great game. It was probably the best game of the playoffs so far, honestly.
It was good.
So, but yeah, no, man, it just sucks that Zion was got hurt because he was fucking hooping. He was
I'm shit. He might have gotten them that 7th seed if
he would have gotten them that 7th seed. Because they made the comeback. They actually got the lead, didn't they?
Yeah. Before he got out. As soon as he got out, that shit changed.
It was over,
man. I had them on the money line. I did. I was like, oh, where's Zion go? Oh man. Okay. Nuggets, Lakers. Who y'all got?
Damn, I got. Oh, wait. No, you.
I got Nuggets.
How many games?
Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets. Like, I kind of give them respect. I put Nuggets in 6. It might be Nuggets in 5, bro.
Yeah, Nuggets in 5 or 6, but I'm gonna lean towards 5. Because the way they looked that first game was like the Lakers just had control of the first half, and it looked like, damn, this is the Lakers team that we expect to come out. They lost 9 straight games to the Nuggets. This is the playoffs. Game 1, all that intensity and shit. Yeah, they came out to play, and the next thing you know, the Nuggets just showed their championship pedigree and just dominated. Like they literally just dog walked them for the rest of the game. Like it was insane. Like again, like they know you guys emphasize it. We emphasize like that Jokic and that Murray and Jokic pick and roll was just unstoppable. Like that shit is. No matter who you got, AD, you can put AD and anybody, AD LeBron on it, and you still ain't gonna stop it. Jokic literally single-handedly can just control that whole game, and it's insane because the moment he does, the moment he does, it's like everybody else knows their role. It's like you can't fucking decipher what they're gonna do. Like you think you got Jokic locked up? Nah, he's gonna find a way. He's gonna find the pass to MPJ or KCP and then or Aaron Gordon's gonna just cut back door. He's gonna throw crazy ass pass. He's gonna make it. And then Jamal Murray got his shot creation. It's kind of just. It's crazy to watch. Like you can see the difference in the team between the Nuggets and the Lakers. Like the Lakers are so reliant on LeBron and him kind of just making everybody else go. Like when he does, they're scary. And then when AD's doing his thing, but then once everybody else can't do nothing, like D'Lo was bricking, bro. That dude was fucking putting up bricks. And then Austin Reeves wasn't really aggressive. Rui had a pretty bad game. I think he had 7 points. And then you can't really depend on their bench either. Like you got Dinwiddie off the bench, you got some bad, you know what I mean? And then the Nuggets, again, they're up there with OKC. I think they're, as a team in the West, they're probably the most complete, and because of last year's run and stuff. So I think no matter what, you can never count them out. Like you could go up a lot, and they're going to come back most likely and put up a fight. And even they end up winning the game. So I wouldn't put any doubt in that. Lakers definitely are going to have to step up to next a new level. I just don't see that in my eyes happening with a 39-year-old LeBron, and not really fully. Even though AD played 76 games this season, he wasn't you can say he's healthy, but I just don't think he still has a little lingering issues too. So. I just don't think they have enough to beat the Nuggets.
Yeah.
So Nuggets in 5.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna stick with the Nuggets in 6 because I understand my thought process when I was writing this down. But I actually didn't have as much of those feelings as you did, but I get what you're saying. I think the main difference that I picked off from it or whatever is just the fact that the Nuggets typically play flawless basketball for 99% of the game, right? And the Lakers typically play it for 90 to 95%. And that margin of error was literally the reason why they lost. Because the Nuggets went on one stretch or one run and that they never recovered. And and that's why in the first half it was so back and forth, because no one went on that run. They were both playing like very well. And like I said, I think the other aspect of that is the extra players, like the role players. I have more faith in like the Aaron Gordons, the MPJs, and the KCPs than the D'Los and Ruiz and Austin Reeves of the world. But I don't think that D'Lo is going to be as bad as he was that first game.
Yeah.
And D'Lo has been like the difference maker since they kind of like were surging towards the end of the season. Once the coach started just saying fuck the defensive like identity we've been running for 3 years and let's just go like offensive talent, D'Lo has been like a different person, like a different player, essentially. Back to like kind of what we saw on the Nets and stuff like that. So he's become like a major aspect of their team. So for him to play as like bad as he did, it makes sense that they lost.
Yep.
He also was like had a lot of defensive woes where he just gave up like corner threes or like cuts and shit.
All around.
Yeah, so it's like that was just bad all around. But he also wasn't doing anything on the offensive end.
Yeah.
And they have completely committed to this offensive like talent thing, and it's been working for them. And that's why I think that they can steal 2 games from the Nuggets because they can play very, very close to like perfect basketball when LeBron is running the show. It's just like obviously age and what is it? Like him just getting tired at this point. Like he can't do it for 48 minutes the way that
he can't play both ends.
Yeah, the way that Jokic is doing it right now because he's way past his prime. So he needs those role players to have those moments now more than he did before.
Yeah.
And do I think D'Lo can do it for a game or two or like an Austin Reeves or something? For sure. And that's why I think they can steal 2 games. But everything else that you're saying, I completely agree. The Nuggets, like I said, they basically play like perfect basketball for like 99% of the time. And you won't really see them fucking up, especially because Jokic is controlling that and he's not going to fuck up.
Yep.
This man is clearly the best player in the world. And like that shit is crazy to see, man. Like someone outbraining Braun for like the whole game.
Yeah.
Like that before it was just like, yo, you gotta have a stacked ass team against Braun and stuff. But like he's going like bar for bar against Braun, and Braun just can't keep up because of age. But it's still crazy to see.
Yeah.
Because I have never seen that from Braun.
Yeah. I think part of it's age. It would have been.
No, yeah, that's like the huge biggest thing.
But I also agree. I actually have Nuggets in 6 as well. For the same reasons, I think the Lakers surprisingly play the Nuggets really well. They're one of the few teams that do. And if we remember last year, it was a sweep, but it was a competitive sweep.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they got blown out 3 of the 4 games or whatever, and that 4th game was the only close game. Like the series could have tipped either way. I don't think they would have won the series, but they probably don't get swept last year if a couple bounces go the right way.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing is going to happen this year. Just because you can't discount a Braun-led team with talent around him, obviously. Like AD is still AD. We've seen flashes of D'Lo. We know Austin Reeves is a really good glue guy. Hachimura, like they have the talent around them. It's just obviously there's not going to be enough to beat the Nuggets. But
not consistently.
But I do think they can win 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can win 2 games. D'Lo's not going to do 6 for 23 every game. Ideally, right?
That's crazy.
Austin
Reeves, defensive plays probably though,
and even Austin Reeves has been relatively quiet for the last couple of weeks. So I imagine that won't like be a thing because he's actually a really good player. So, but that's enough praise for the Lakers. Nuggets in 6. You know they have the championship pedigree. They have the best player in the world, and arguably the best 1-2 punch in the league. So, yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Like when watching them play, man, it's just like that's the kind of shit that I'm striving for / like talking about when I talk about the Celtics.
Yeah,
it's like it's there and there are glimpses of it a lot, but their ability to just like go to and like execute something when they need to is just flawless, and it's because of Jokic.
Yeah. So
it's like that aspect is. I just fucking wish we had that like consistently. Yeah. And I don't think that we can't get there or it can't be shown. Yeah, or that can't be shown throughout this playoff run because we don't know what the Celtics are going to look like.
Right.
But it'll be that's what I'm wishing for, man.
Yeah.
They play so good, damn good.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that comes out when your top 2 players play off each other. Obviously like the Jays are wings. so it's not as natural. But man, like when you think of a prototypical build for an NBA team, point guard center, that was like the fucking blueprint, and they built it.
Mhm.
So shit, man, that's gonna be a scary team to face in the finals. Holy shit. So, next series, this one, I'm interested in this one and what way we go for this one. So,
Mm.
Wolves versus Suns. We got
Mm,
I know who
mm,
Nathan
mm,
has. I'll go first. I have the Suns in 7.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I'm going crazy with this one, and I'm gonna tell you why.
This was rough.
It was really rough because I've been a fan of the Wolves, and remember last year I was all up on the Wolves with the talent.
Mm.
I was a big Rudy Gobert truther, right?
I still am too.
I just think the Wolves looked amazing in Game 1, right?
Yeah.
They played really well at home. Anthony Edwards looked like Jordan's son, right? Like all the talking points you could think of, they provided it for us. I just think when you take, and I know Devin Booker has a reputation of this, and KD's starting to have this reputation, I guess, in talking points. But man, like the experience pool that they have compared to the Wolves, right?
Yeah.
KD has won championships. Devin Booker has been to the finals. Frank Vogel has led a championship team. And realistically, I think we've been saying this all year. For a team that has 3 supermax players, they've constructed their roster really well, where they have good complementary pieces: Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Nurkic, Okogie. Is it Okogie? Or I have that backwards. I always confuse Okogie and fucking the kid from the Cavaliers.
Okoro?
Yeah, they have fucking the same names and shit.
It's
but
Okogie,
anyway. But yeah, so like they have really good complementary pieces, and I think the experience of all that combined, and Bradley Beal obviously is kind of like an overlooked portion of that big 3 at this stage for some reason, but he's looked really good and healthy again lately, and I think that's enough to beat a relatively inexperienced team. And I think Kyle has touched on this before, and I agree. I think when you get into the crunch with the Wolves, their decision making is not great. They settle a lot, and when I mean settle, it's just an Anthony Edwards step back jumper or 3. And not every game in the series is going to be a blowout. And I think when it gets down to the wire, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, and you need a bucket, I'm gonna trust the Suns' big 3 over Anthony Edwards in in at least 4 games.
Yeah,
so I
agree.
I do think they win in 7.
I think I had I did have the Suns in 7, and this game doesn't really. It was a very close game for a while, and then it just grew into a blowout, and I think that is whatever to me. Because that's just like a game you gotta just chalk up. Because the shots that Ant was making, that like the way that, so he has such a game that when he's on, bro, he's like, yo, this is the face of the league. He's up next,
talking all that shit,
and this is the perfect example of that, because he was hitting that day. There were so many contested shots that he just made in front of like KD's face, and that. He's not to the point where I will take that over like the talent that the Suns have, because it's not like Ant has other stuff outside of that. Like Cat is a great like an efficient shooter and a great spacer, but I don't think that he is of the shot creation or like offensive impact that Ant or like most like other co-stars are. So to see that he was just going nuclear that game was basically like what I can expect out of some games from him. But I can see, like Riz was saying earlier, where they start to go into crunch time and a lot of those shots just aren't hitting, and they get very like iced out, and their offense, it just looks very poor. So yeah, I think the fact that it was a close game for majority of it, and then shit started to hit the fan, doesn't make me too scared, because I think adjustments just need to be made. But the Phoenix Suns in general too are very like flip floppy. Some days they look like a championship winning team, and some days they just look like they shouldn't have even made the playoffs. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of those days. In a 7-game series, I still like their structure more than the Wolves, but the Wolves were also playing like defense out of their ass, bro. That shit was crazy. It was good. I like my main concern was the whole like cat thing and being exploited there, but surprisingly they just put cat on KD, and just let everyone ISO. Like KD still got his. I forget how much like Book really impacted the game or anything. He didn't really impact the game, to be honest. So I mean that's another aspect. Yeah, like Book is definitely gonna play better than this. But yeah, to see them just put Cat on KD and let them run ISOs and not really like send doubles or switch crazy or anything like that. I think their defensive game plan was actually pretty good. They just let KD cook. So I could see that swaying against them once the other guys start cooking too, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna stand by my kind of like take from the beginning of the season or whatever. But the Wolves, like I'm gonna stick to Wolves in 7, but my heart and just as an NBA fan, like tells me that Phoenix is gonna win the 7.
That's
like,
so funny.
I mean, like I was saying with the other series, but like the OKC versus Pelicans, OKC's like offense, and then Cavs, and then kind of reminiscent of the Cavs, a better matchup like of the Cavs and Orlando. I think just obviously Phoenix is, you can label them as an offensive juggernaut team with their big three, but like again, they have their days where they are and their days where they're not. So like I have a lot more trust in that to win in a series, and I would put the ball in KD and Book's hands before I would Anthony Edwards, because just their decision making is better, their shot creation is better, just almost everything is better offensively. But when it comes to defense, I would definitely give the edge to the Wolves. I think
absolutely.
if it comes down to it, and everything goes right, like offensively in the game, like they would be able to win in the series. But I think just going off of the experience and all that, Suns definitely have what it takes to overcome that. And this is a young and relatively inexperienced team they're facing up against, and this is the Suns' first run as a big three. So it's a testimony to both teams, but I think ultimately, like, the Suns will get it done, but I would not be surprised. I will root for the Wolves in 7, but just
that's
the Suns winning 7 is cool too. Like, it's whatever. Like, I could care less because when we get to the second round, they're gonna get bounced anyways.
Most likely, yeah. I could definitely see the argument for the Wolves just because of the defensive capabilities.
Yeah, because that'll always stay. The fucking offensive fluctuation from the Suns, so that could be very wishy-washy.
Yep, because you never know. Like, if one guy has it going, like one thing I've noticed about the Suns is when one guy has it going, they tend to just feed him.
Yeah,
it becomes really like ISO heavy. Like, hey, cook, and then get yours. So I could see that definitely swing in a way for the Wolves, but for the time being, I'm gonna stick with the Suns.
I agree.
And I know who Kyle's gonna pick for the next series. But
so funny.
I'm gonna say this, okay? So it's obviously Mavs versus Clippers. We don't know the status of Kawhi.
Why?
Right?
In my opinion, he's not, like, this is the one where I'm like, he's probably not coming back.
If he comes back, I think by game 3, I have Clippers in 6. But if he doesn't come back, I have Mavs in 6.
Yeah.
Just because, like,
I mean, I'm not like too. I wouldn't switch either way if like Kawhi was there. I think their game plan was like really good. But also like Zubac and fucking Harden just went nuclear.
Game 1 Harden.
In the first half. And I think like there was the second quarter, the Mavs scored 8 points.
Yeah, 22.
and they lost by 12. So I'm like, their role players were ass. They had a really good scheme on Kyrie in the first half. Obviously they did in the second half, but Kyrie like adjusted. But sending a lot more effort into stopping Kyrie in compared to Luka obviously makes like a lot more sense because Luka's always going to get his no matter what the coverage is. But being able to stop him in that way was definitely like a big part into why they ended up winning. But I just think that the overall like play of the role players just wasn't there, and I don't really expect that for the rest of the series. It is like the first major series from like PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, and
Yep.
what is it like Derek Lively and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
as in like their front court. But they are, in my opinion, very like talented in the front court at this point. They very much upgraded. So I don't personally expect Zubac to fucking go crazy for the whole series. And that was basically, in my opinion, the determining factor. Like Harden will have those games in a series, and that probably will continue if Kawhi is out. But he really set the Zoo really just set the fucking tone in the paint, and like Daniel Gafford was like non-existent, bro. And he's been a huge part into why they were going on these runs to end the season and stuff like that. I think he also tweaked his ankle or something like that in the game too, so he also didn't play a lot. But yeah, I just think though, even with Kawhi there, I don't think he's gonna look like regular season Kawhi when he's back, because he's clearly been out for a while.
I'm never gonna pound out the Android. But no, like I think I agree with what you're saying. If Kawhi is out, like, and I'm gonna go off the assumption that he's gonna be out because they've been really like.
Yeah, I assume so too. That's what I'm saying.
They haven't said anything about his status, like at all, and an expected timeline or anything. So my official pick will be Mavs in 6. But like, I just think if Kawhi comes back and he is who he is, and maybe he isn't, who knows? But I think he can sway the series.
Yep.
But
I agree.
Just because I think if Kawhi is there, then the Clippers have the better roster. Obviously, right? But without Kawhi, I think it's a lot more even, especially with the additions of PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, who were shooting like 90% from the field for like a month.
Yeah. But I mean that's just because he's like he got good touch and positioning and stuff.
But
it's like
for sure,
Luka has done a lot of work against that same team, even with Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't see how in my opinion, a more cohesive team won't just like sway it. Essentially, he's taken them very far, just backpacking the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not like his style of play didn't really change much either. He just has more complementary pieces, like better complementary pieces. So I still have them regardless if like Kawhi was to come back. Just because it's not like this was a Luka game either. Like Luka was pretty, like both Luka and Kyrie were pretty ass in the first half. So I expect like much more out of Luka as well.
I'm gonna have to agree. I had Mavs in 6. That's obviously with Kawhi out. But I think even if Kawhi would to be back, I would still take Mavs in 7 if that was the case. But Mavs in 6 for me, officially.
Yeah, they definitely should have. They definitely shouldn't have dropped this game because it's like the first game without Kawhi. But
that's actually crazy.
I think it'll be fine.
That's
every road team lost.
Every home team won and every road team lost. I should have bet the home team, man. No, I wouldn't want to.
So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
No, it will be interesting, and it kind of sucks that he's not healthy because that was one of the more exciting series that I was looking forward to.
Yeah, dude, that would have been like fire.
Yeah,
of the series
because like Mavs versus Clippers
has been a thing.
It's like like you, and then you're missing. Imagine like not having Luka. It's like, dude, come on now. What's the point of the series now?
Actually,
so let's move on to our rest of the playoffs predictions. All right.
Yeah.
So I think we pretty much have the same bracket minus the Philly Knicks, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But that doesn't matter because we know the second round.
Suns and Wolves too. But we also know the second round.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. So for me, Celtics versus Cavs. I have season 5.
Season 5. Sir.
I have season 6.
Season 6.
I think they might snooze a little bit. That's just me being like a little bit skeptical, but I think they're just gonna.
I got faith this year.
Until they.
I got faith. Yeah.
I got faith this year.
We take care of business this year.
Yes, sir. Okay, so for me, it's Bucks. Oh fuck! Who the fuck did I pick?
Oh yeah, I chose
Bucks versus Knicks. I put Bucks versus Knicks, right?
Yeah, okay. I still have the Knicks.
I have the Knicks in 6 if Giannis isn't healthy. But I
I got
think
the
if
Knicks in
but if Giannis
5.
is healthy, I think I have Bucks in 7 because Tibbs is just gonna run that team into the floor, man. These dudes are gonna play 46 minutes a game. I think these
Mm-hmm.
dudes run out of gas, bro.
That's funny. I mean, you can go Nathan first because you had the Bucks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the Bucks. So I mean, if Giannis is healthy, I'll take Bucks in 6. But if Giannis is not healthy, I would have to say Knicks in 7. But
Okay.
if I had to pick, I'm gonna go with Giannis. Since I
Actually,
think
you
the
have
Bucks
Philly
to get out of the
though.
first round.
Yeah. You had
Oh, no,
Philly,
that's Philly,
right?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had
So if you have
Bucks
Philly, if you
versus
have Philly
Philly.
Bucks,
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. Yeah. Okay, so Bucks versus Philly. So no, I'm gonna take. Hey, that's tough. But
he said,
I'm
he
gonna
said
take.
Embiid Finals in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'll take Bucks. Bucks in 6.
Okay.
Bucks in
Yeah,
6.
I have completely different bracket. So since I went Pacers, it would be Pacers Knicks for me. But I would go Knicks in like 5. To be
Gotcha.
honest, I think the the grittiness is just gonna clash with the finesse of the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So my Eastern Conference Finals would be Celtics Knicks.
Celtics Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had Celtics Bucks, and then Nathan, you got
Celtics Bucks.
Celtics Bucks as well, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we could just do Eastern Conference Finals right now, I guess,
East.
right?
Yeah.
Yo, season 6, baby.
Yeah, season 6.
No
I mean, it's
question.
the same
Season
regardless of
It's
team.
the same.
Season
Yeah.
6.
Because I think the team that comes out of that bracket will be like very competitive.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So that like I have a fear that the Celtics will not play the way that we want them to until that Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Not that they're not going to show like a lot of glimpses of it and stuff like that, but I think that'll be their first real challenge. So we'll really see like I think they're going to just get caught off guard like a game or two.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I feel that.
I can see that.
PTSD kicking in. I get it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Dude, the bracket is their run is just so easy.
It is.
In
It really
theory, it's so easy. That's why I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be
Yeah.
like that engaged.
I think I forgot who I was telling. It was somebody at work, but I was because I'm kind of the guy like I'm the super fan. I got the backpack and all that shit, right? I got the lanyard, I got the shirts. So like everybody always asks me. I was like, and the fucking one thing I always tell everybody: if we don't, unless it's the Nuggets, if we don't at least make it to the finals and win, if it's not the Nuggets, then this is the biggest fucking choke job in NBA history. Because
Yeah.
holy shit, we have no reason not to win it this year. So I think we all had the Celtics coming out of the East. I think
Yep.
most of the country, minus the trolls, do. So like,
Yeah.
all right. So Western Conference. So my bracket was I think we have the same bracket, right? Thunder.
Yeah,
versus
we all got
Mavs?
Thunder.
Thunder versus
I
Mavs.
got Thunder.
Mavs, yep.
I got the Mavs in 6.
I got Mavs in 7.
Ooh.
I got Mavs in 6.
Yeah, I just think I'm taking Luka, Magic, and Kyrie over an
Yeah.
inexperienced
Oh,
Thunder team.
Yeah.
All
I
day.
got a lot of faith in the Thunder squad. So I'm like, I think they got enough
Their time will
talent and
come,
stuff to, yeah,
but it's
to
not
go
this year.
7. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they go 6. I think they
Yeah.
go 7.
Gotcha. And then I mean, we all come on now. Nuggets versus Suns.
Yeah.
Nuggets
Or
is-
Wolves. I'm
Wait,
still
or
taking
Nuggets
Wolves.
versus Suns or Wolves. I got Nuggets in 6.
the shit. I might have them in 5. Yeah, I have them in
I got-
Suns. I have the Nuggets in
I
5.
have Suns as well. Yeah.
Because I think they're gonna
I'm-
fucking s- the Suns.
Yeah, I'd agree. If the Nuggets play the Suns, and Nuggets win in 5, but if they play the Wolves, I think Nuggets in 6.
Yeah.
Wolves-
Especially because they got that big man
Fight.
like defense.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. You know what's funny? The Wolves is the other team in the West that plays the Nuggets really well.
Nuggets really well. Yeah.
It's because they got defensive big men, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the key. Like it's obviously not gonna stop Jokic,
Like yeah.
but that's the way that you can squeeze things out.
Like low key,
yeah.
I kind of want to see that more than the Suns.
Oh, yeah.
I know,
I mean,
but
they
the Suns
they
were my
played them
pick.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah, they played them really well last year,
yeah, they did.
and they said that was their hardest matchup.
Mm.
But then we'd get all the whole Ant Edwards, son of Jordan shit. So,
Yeah.
and then the Western Conference Finals: Mavs versus Nuggets for both of us, right? All three of us, right?
All three of us.
I got
Yeah.
Nuggets in like 6.
Yeah, I got them in 6 too.
Nuggets in 6. Yeah. Always go 7.
We don't gotta explain that. I mean, come on, it's the Nuggets. So,
Yeah.
Nuggets.
so this one's interesting. Celtics Nuggets.
I actually didn't put a pred for this. I just had the finals as them because I really don't know.
You gotta pick
I'm
somebody.
going Celtics in 7.
I got Celtics in 6.
I don't want to win in Denver. Win it
I
at
don't
home.
want to win in Denver either, but I also don't want to play a game 7 and then have a heart attack.
I think it
and
would go.
die.
I think it would go
That's
7.
true.
Yeah, I think Celtics in 7.
That's
If
seven.
because I'm gonna just be optimistic about the Celtics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Celtics in 7.
Listen, man. If that shit goes 7, and it very likely will, if we're being completely honest, my wallet will start crying.
Yeah, for sure will.
Do you know how
That's
fucking
real.
much a game 7 in
will.
the finals will cost? It'll cost you $800 to get in the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to sell.
But yeah, the
uniform.
only reason why I'm choosing Celtics in 7 is home court. I think that plays a huge part for the Nuggets, and you even saw glimpses of it against the Lakers, where these motherfuckers just look gassed as hell.
Yeah.
So I think Nuggets having home court advantage throughout the playoffs essentially will like helps them a lot.
Yep.
But in that specific matchup, us having the home court advantage will play a big part in my opinion. Because I don't know if we're gonna like heavy adjust to their home court. I'd be very shocked if we like stole one in their home court.
And I think it's funny because this playoff is probably the one playoff you could say where home court means something for the Celtics, because the last 2 years it hasn't meant shit. So
our home court has been very, very good.
But they've made it a point of emphasis this year.
Yep.
I'm very happy about it, and hopefully they continue. But yeah, season 6/7. I really hope it's not 7, man, because that's.
I hope it's not 7.
I don't know if I can handle that shit, bro.
No, I can't handle game 7, bro. That would just break. Regardless, it would fucking
in the like the last time we had a game 7 in the finals, you have no idea. Like, oh my god, against the Lakers, 1, one, it was rigged. 2,
it was.
2, holy shit! I have never been so quiet and loud at the same time. If you can, like, you know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh shit, what's going on? But no, this Celtics team in a seventh game in the finals, I don't know, man. A little General Hospital about to be filled up.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say that.
Oh shit! But those are our playoff predictions locked in.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Until next time.
Peace.
Peace out.
See you in like 2 months.